The first and second All-WNBA teams were released today with almost no surprises.
You are Locked On Women's Basketball, your daily podcast on women's basketball.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey everyone, welcome into Locked On Women's Basketball. I am Kalia Butler. Joined alongside me is my co-host, Sophia Jones. Thank you so much for joining us today. A couple things to talk about per usual. Obviously, we're going to get into the Aces and Mercury game that is happening later on tonight. So excited for that fourth game matchup. And also, we have plenty to talk about when it comes to the All-WNBA teams that just came out today. We had spoke in our last segment that we were waiting on this to happen. They had it scheduled out. It didn't come out on time, but all of those are finally here, and we're here to break it down. Sophia, are you excited to talk about them?
I'm excited. I low-key feel like it was us just like putting it out into the universe that they didn't do these awards, that they were like, you know what? Yeah, we got to release those. So I'm excited.
They're like, they called us out. We have to do something about this now, obviously. So we're going to go over all WNBA teams plus the voter breakdown. So first team, Napheesa Collier. That's an obvious one. I think we all understand she had a 50, 40, 90 season. She was just, unfortunately, her season had to end due to injury, and the Lynx season didn't go necessarily as anticipated. We thought we would maybe see them again in the finals, but it's very clear that she would be in it. A'ja Wilson, Alyssa Thomas, Alicia Gray, who I love and felt like needs even more recognition for the season that she had, as well as Kelsey Mitchell. Sophia, to you, who just stands out and who is basically not a surprise to you?
There were zero surprises there. I probably couldn't have put it like any other better way for that first team. I mean, Fee, Asia, runner or MVP, runner-up MVP, Alyssa Thomas. I think it's so great that we have two first-team All-WNBA players competing in the finals. That's always great. And it was almost so much of a given to me that I was a little surprised at some of these voter breakdowns. And so the WNBA, of course, they release who, or not the specific people, but they release how many votes each player got. And so Fee and Asia were unanimous. Alyssa Thomas got one second team vote, which I don't understand. I thought she's a clear given. I mean, she set her own record again in most triple doubles in a season with 8. And then getting into Alicia Gray, which I completely agree with you. She deserves so much recognition. That Atlanta Dream team would not be where they were, ending up in that 3 spot. Without her, she showed so much improvement, so she deserves a lot of success. She was another one that got 2 second place votes, or 2 second team votes, which I was a little curious about. And then just with Kelsey Mitchell, I mean, I feel like you can't go on enough about Kelsey Mitchell and what she was able to do for that Indiana Fever team, especially at that point guard position. You know, there was just so much turmoil with injuries, and she stayed consistent. I mean, she averaged 20.2 points per game. That was number 3 in the league. 39% on 3-pointers. She's made the most 3-pointers in the league this past season, but she also got 10 second team votes. And it's just one of those things, I'm not sure who you would put ahead of those players, but I thought every single one of those was a given and very well deserved.
I think that's the prime question when I look at some of these results too. When you see certain players getting second team votes, especially a Kelsey Mitchell, who for some time we thought the Fever maybe weren't going to make a push really just for the regular season either, just because of the injuries that they had succumbed to. Obviously, when your star player and Caitlin Clark goes out early, the face of the franchise, everybody just has a bunch of question marks. All right, who was going to step up? But even before Caitlin had gone out, Kelsey Mitchell proved to be the veteran that she was on this team, and we've talked about it before. She said this season she was able to just find a love for basketball again, and I think that really translated into what she was able to produce on the court. Again, very consistent player for the Fever all season long. Truthfully, don't know. She was really honestly at the top of my list. When you think about just some underdog stories, Kelsey Mitchell was the answer for them. and even in Alicia Gray. Alicia Gray really stepped up when Ryan Howard was hurt. She was able to keep the Dream in a playoff contention spot. Obviously, there's a bunch of different assets for the Dream, but her consistency this season was also really big, especially her 3-point percentage. She was shooting 38% from three. That's why she was in the 3-point shooting contest at All-Star Weekend. She had a fantastic season. I kind of wish the Dream were able to make it a little bit further within their playoff run, just because I really loved the unit that they had. And I think if there was just maybe just able to click a little on a couple more cylinders, obviously injuries have riddled the WNBA this whole season. But I was really impressed with them. But to your point, everyone on this list makes sense. But we're going to look at the second team too. Nneka Ogwumike, that made sense to me. Jackie Young, especially we're seeing the finals push that she is having. She was another consistent player all season long. I think these finals are proving the type of caliber of player that she really is. Sabrina Ionescu, Aaliyah Boston, and Paige Bueckers, who was obviously also Rookie of the Year. Who stands out to you on second team?
I would honestly want to touch on Jackie Young a little bit because Asia, she so deservingly gets so much attention on that Las Vegas Aces team, but Asia doesn't go if Jackie also doesn't go. And Jackie really put up some great numbers. I mean, average about 17 points per game, 5 assists per game. Those are very solid and in such a winning squad as well. That's a theme that I've definitely noticed with WNBA voters in these first and second teams, also with defense. They definitely take like a team-oriented approach. And I mean, I think it's still totally deserved because with a player like Jackie Young, she contributed so much, so much to winning for the Las Vegas Aces. Even in those moments that Asia Wilson was injured, she had missed a couple games, not too much, but Jackie held it down. She kept them steady. I think sometimes she doesn't get as much praise because she is a calmer, quieter person, but I'm glad or happy to see her get this second team. And so much credit to Nneka Ogwumike as well. I mean, Madam President, of course, as everyone knows, but talk about like longevity and just getting it done. She's an epitome of that, and she does it with so much grace too.
She does. And that was somebody that I really wanted to point out on second team too, because I think a lot of people kind of fall to her age of I believe she's 35 now, but really just her ability to stay healthy this season, to just taking care of herself, especially just being an older, specifically a woman in sports, being 35, the fact that she is moving the way that she is, and she's so clutch when you need her most. I was just impressed what she was able to literally do all season long, shooting 52%, 36% from three. And she's just such a powerful player too, just so strong. And when we think about these 3-level scorers that we have seen across the WNBA this season, she is also one of those. Like, she will really hurt you on any spot on the court. But I think she's very deserving of being on this second team spot.
Definitely. It almost felt like she was able to elevate her game even more in her ability to score on all three levels. I mean, 52% field goals and 37% from the three.
Mhm.
As a forward, that's great. That's outstanding numbers. So much credit to Nneka. And I was also really impressed. I mean, I think it was a given that Paige was going to get on an all WNBA team. Rookie of the Year. She set the WNBA single game scoring record with that 44 piece against the Los Angeles Sparks. Insane to watch, but she definitely deserved her flowers. I think that was the only player that you see on there that they decided to overlook team performance because her individual performance was that strong. And it was 19 points per game. That was fifth in the league and 5.4 assists per game. I mean, she really did everything in her power.
It's hard to overlook when you're setting a single game scoring record for a rookie with 44 points. You got to give her flowers. But when we come back after this, we are going to talk about some snubs and surprise omissions that we have had in this one too. One of the tools that helps make a huge difference for business owners is Quo, formerly Open Phone. It's same great business phone system you've heard me talk about before, just a new name. And that's why it matters. Every missed call is money left on the table when every customer conversation counts. You need a phone system that keeps you connected 24/7. Quo is the #1 business phone system that streamlines customer communications. It works right through an app on your phone or computer, so no more carrying two phones or relying on a landline. I love how Quo, formerly known as Open Phone, lets your team share one number and collaborate on calls and texts like a shared inbox, so no customer gets left hanging. So why over 90,000 businesses trust Quo, formerly Open Phone? Get started free and get 20% off your first 6 months at quo.com/lockedonnba. That's quo.com/lockedonnba. And if you've got existing numbers with another service, Quo will port them with no extra charge. No missed calls, no missed customers. Okay, so we talked about the first and second teams. However, we also have some surprises when we're looking at this group as well, on some people that we didn't see in there. Kelsey Plum, who was really a spark, no pun intended, for
Pun
Los
intended.
Angeles.
Why not? Go for
Very
it.
pun intended, actually. Let's go for it.
Yeah.
She was a spark for this LA team. You can just tell she showed a lot of true veteran leadership. She had a lot of great command of the court and of the offense. And I think when we think about Kelsey Plum as well, she also has a great defensive presence. And then another one in there, Breanna Stewart didn't make it this year either, which I did think was a little bit interesting in terms of, I guess, effectiveness. Some of that obviously I'm sure has to do with injury and missing games, but I just feel like seeing her and Sabrina Ionescu, I think those ones can kind of be, you can't go wrong with either on who's going to make it, but it is surprising that she didn't make one of these.
Yeah, I think when first Dewey, her and postseason WNBA awards are synonymous. We're used to her seeing so much success, and I think just kind of like you said, if it wasn't for a couple of injuries and honestly maybe even potentially a little bit of recency bias because
Mhm.
the Liberty did fall off towards the end of the season. They
Right.
were a first round exit. That kind of could potentially stick in voters' minds, which is why it could have led to them not putting two Liberty players on there. But I mean, Stewie, she's a bucket. Whenever she steps on the floor, she makes a difference. I think we saw how she was more so the heartbeat of that New York Liberty team during her absence. I mean, Sabrina Ionescu, she held it down, but Breanna Stewart, she is really one of the main players, if not the main, that can help get them going. She was second team all defense this past season as well. So getting it done on both sides of the floor. She was someone that I understand why she was left off, but it's still, again, it's jarring because you're so used to her getting these accolades.
I think you use a good word for it too, jarring, because they are synonymous. When you think about, honestly, just kind of the face of the league, Breanna Stewart's always going to come to mind for me just because literally she's Breanna Stewart. Shout out to Syracuse. She's born in Syracuse. I remember the first time I'd gone there and I saw like the mural of her. I was like, she is really that girl. And I'm glad her city knows it. But it truthfully is surprising. And again, I think you bring up really good points of, injury, the more games, it's kind of when you're thinking of the NBA, if there's a player that misses a certain amount of games, they're not going to be winning certain awards. So it is understandable. And she was gone for a good stretch of games. But when you think about her effectiveness when she is in the game, and I think back to their final playoffs game before losing, she was the only one that scored in the fourth quarter. I think she had, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe she had like 14 points in the fourth quarter or
It
something
was
along those
something
numbers.
crazy, and she was doing it on like one leg.
Exactly. And so it's just like she literally is fighting an injury. Her knee is like busted. Let's just say that her knee is toe up, and she is getting electrocution waves going through her knee as she's playing the game, like actively happening while she's playing the game so that she can play and try to get to the next round of the playoffs. And she was the only one that scored that entire quarter. Obviously, they're going to go off of the big picture of what players were able to do all season long. But truthfully, she deserves a spot on first or second team simply based on that performance alone, because it takes a very strong individual to be able to pull something off like that in the playoffs.
100%. It almost makes me wish that I know like these awards, they say, oh, it's a regular season award. It should almost be like a regular season award and a postseason award. I don't know, because I just feel like types of performances like that deserve some kind of recognition because she really did her big one. And I think we can both agree, like we said, if it wasn't because of those injuries and probably the Liberty slipping a little bit, she's making it onto first or second team. But another player, like we also mentioned, was Kelsey Plum. She was actually on the Associated Press's second team, but missed off the official WNBA ones. I thought she made a very strong case herself. 19.5 points per game. That's third in the league. 5.7 assists per game. That's fifth. Number 3 in three-pointers made. So she's a huge difference maker. She was one of the main reasons why the Sparks were able to make that very late post All-Star break push, where they were one of the hottest teams in the WNBA at one point. So I can definitely understand the Kelsey Plum argument.
I also think this was a good season for a surprise. Again, surprising that she wasn't on a first or second team list, because she really did make the Sparks a contender or a team to talk about after the All-Star break, as you've mentioned. I also think this is just in general a really good season to prove to herself what she's capable of. Not that she doesn't know, but obviously being away from the aces, and she was a little bit outspoken of, there's almost too many superstars on the aces, where she felt she wasn't able to play her true self. And being able to go to the Sparks, and again, they're a very young team, a team that I think can be a really strong playoff contender later on. But again, they just still have some young faces. And when you think of a Cameron Brink finally being able to come back, having a little bit of a season under her, I think they will be really strong next season, depending what that roster makeup looks like. But you don't have that type of push without Kelsey Plum and her championship mindset, her ability to win games, facilitate an offense. And again, you have to give her credit on the defensive end as well. So I do feel like she deserved a spot on one of those. I would say second team at the very least. But either way, I think she has to be very proud of the type of season that she had, and proving to herself that she can, go to another organization and get the job done.
Definitely. And I think if the Sparks just win a couple more games, if they make playoffs, she's probably in that second team. I would
Mhm.
100% say. Um, Her and I think Dearica Hamby deserves a lot of credit as well. She had a great season. She's one of my favorite bigs to watch in the league because I love a big that runs. And Dearica Hamby, they get a rebound and she's
She's out
sprinting.
of
She's
there.
out of there. Just rim running. And I mean, credit to Kelsey Plum and her teammates for getting her the ball, but very athletic. I think she had a great season. She was in the discussions a little bit for most improved player as well. But like I said, I think if the Sparks make the playoffs, they get one of their players on one of these all WNBA rosters. But I think it would be Kelsey Plum first over Dearica Hamby.
Yes, totally agree with you. Valid points. We have, however, the WNBA finals today, which could be the last game of these finals with the new best of 7. So, very curious to see what that is going to look like. And we're going to get a little bit more into that and how the Aces could possibly sweep the Mercury tonight.
This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. Every day we make decisions, but on PrizePicks, being right can actually get you paid. Don't miss the excitement of this football season with PrizePicks, where it's good to be right. Playing PrizePicks is such a fun, simple way to add more excitement to football. You just pick more or less on a player projections, like Josh Allen's passing yards or Saquon Barkley's rushing for a touchdown, and you're in the game. I love how quick it is. You can make your lineup in under a minute. So download the PrizePicks app today and use code Locked On NBA to get $50 off in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code Locked On NBA for $50 off in lineups after your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right.
Okay. Big game for the Aces today. They could sweep the Mercury and win the 2025 WNBA Finals. Update for the Mercury: Satou Sabally, after that injury she had gone out with last game in the fourth quarter where she hit her head, she did undergo concussion protocol and was ruled out for this game with said concussion. That is going to impact Phoenix a lot.
It really is. That's such a major blow to not have Satou. She has such great size, can score at three levels. We've consistently talked about her throughout these finals that she's such an X factor for the Phoenix Mercury when she's able to put the ball in the basket. And she just really gives them that other scoring option, especially another one of our themes in talking throughout these play or through these finals have been the Mercury's offense, where sometimes it just gets stagnant and you don't know where it's going to come from. And you always knew that Satou was going to shoot. That was never a question. That was never a question, but Satou is going to shoot. And so to not have that willingness and that competitor as well is a huge blow to the Phoenix Mercury. And I think just last game, it was so demoralizing for them to fight their way all the way back from 17 down to then lose on like an incredible amazing shot by Asia Wilson. It's one of those things where how do you emotionally bounce back from that? And for the Aces, they just have to continue to do what they've been doing.
And when we look at kind of the track record for the Mercury, too, obviously they are in quite a hole being down 3 games to the Aces right now. They have all the momentum. The Aces are going to want to come in and finish this thing off. I do believe that the Mercury are going to put up a very good fight today, but with Satou being out in this, it's going to be incredibly difficult. When we keep talking about their bench production, this is the exact time that you need your bench to come in and be effective. And I think a player that has really stood out to me from Phoenix this season has been Catherine Westbeld. I think the fact that they were even able to find her overseas, bring her in, she can be a very big contributor off the bench. She really spaces the floor very well. And she has some that same power and versatility as Satou to a degree. Obviously, Satou is a unicorn on her own. But I think if you can get a Catherine Westbeld going, if DeWanna Bonner has the same sort of game that she had last time out, they understand what is at stake. They can be completely done with their season. They still have the power of being back in their home arena. However, when they haven't seen a win within these first 3 games, I don't think it's going to be very easy for them to get that done today and then go through a push to just finish off the rest of the series. I do believe that the Aces have this series. It's more dependent if it just ends today or the next game.
Yeah, and the Mercury consistently throughout this series, they've gotten out to very fast starts. And they jump out ahead, but then the Aces always find themselves back in. I think for this game today, it could really be won within the first quarter. If Mercury are in it, they give themselves a good chance. But if they are down, even just honestly, like not even by much, I don't think they have too much of just that juice left in the tank. It's been a long season for these women as well. I mean, we're already starting into EuroLeague which is usually there's not much of a crossover. So that's an indication right there that, the season's running a little long. There were more games with the addition of the Golden State Valkyries. So I'm just not sure. It's gonna have to take some real MVP and championship MVP level performances from Mercury. I would specifically highlight just Alyssa Thomas and Kalia Copper again. Kalia Copper was a little more on the quiet end last game, but for the Aces, just the way that they've been rolling and how every single scheme, whatever the Phoenix Mercury have thrown at them, they've just picked it apart and responded in the exact correct way. I think you give a lot of credit to players like Asia Wilson and Jackie Young, but Becky Hammon is doing a fantastic job coaching from the sidelines. It feels like anytime Nate Tibbetts tries to switch something up, Becky's like, oh, okay, I'll just do this.
She just has so many counterattacks, and that does come, with the experience of her being even going back to her being a coach in the NBA. She has just seen so much over the years that really whatever you throw at her, she has an answer for it. And even if she doesn't answer it right away, the next time out, trust it will be dealt with. Because I remember head coach for the Sky, Tyler Marsh, he had worked with the Aces for years. And he said that the game between the Aces and the Sky for him on a coaching level was basically like a game of chess going up against Becky Hammon, because she is just so strategic in what she is going to do. Even when we think about the defenses that they've been coming out in, nobody's necessarily expecting for you to throw a box and one at them. I don't really think most teams are planning for that. Yeah, expect the unexpected, but most teams are like, oh, okay, well, now we got to reattack this. She just always has a response. She has a new system. She has something that no matter what, she trusts in her team to go out and execute that, and they do. The Aces are going to want to end it tonight. As you said, it's been a long season. Everyone, I'm sure, is over it. They are ready to rock and roll. They're ready to put another banner up, and they're ready to go home and lay down. I just believe that the Aces have all the momentum. You have Asia Wilson, who is Asia Wilson. Like, literally, her shot, game-winning shot, she's got it. Like, she's got it today. And today she's going to want to prove it again.
Exactly. I think those are the types of shots that are so hard to bounce back from if you're an opponent, because you're double teaming her. You're playing good defense. You're doing everything you can. You came back from 17. You were hitting tough shots down the stretch. You were executing. And then it's just Asia Wilson rises up and knocks down the shot. And that can
players defending her on top of that too. Like,
yes.
How do you respond to that?
Yeah, that's just so hard to respond. And I think if anything, the Phoenix Mercury, they could look with Satou being out, if they do try different things, that could potentially be a benefit to them. But it's gonna have to be an all hands on deck situation. Sometimes you do see where when a player goes down, the team rallies. So that is very much a possibility. But rallying and effort can only take you so far when a team is competing at such a high level of talent like the Las Vegas Aces are.
Like you mentioned, it's going to take all hands on deck for the Mercury to try and pull off a win within this series and try to just extend it an extra game. However, the Aces have all the flow and juices. They are going to come in. They're going to come out hot again, and they are going to capitalize on this opportunity to try and sweep the Mercury. But either way, I'm expecting a fun and exciting game. This has been such a great finals series and the best of 7. We would love to see more basketball, but at the end of the day, I think the Aces got this one. But we will be back tomorrow to talk more about the finals game. And who knows, maybe we'll see an upset. But for now, thank you so much for tuning in with us on Locked On Women's Basketball, your daily podcast for women's basketball. Make sure to